Well, hi there, everybody, and good morning to meteorologist Travis Klineski here. Let's advance this out now that we're recording this starting at 8 o'clock this morning. We have a frontal boundary draped across the area this morning. It's attached to an area of low pressure in northeastern Colorado, and there's a dry line that extends southward. That's that yellow line that you see there. All these are key features to how things will be playing out later on today. Now, as we take you through the morning hours, notice the winds out of the south and the southeast will be increasing in speed heading into the afternoon hours. And those are going to drive that warm front to the north. Take you back to about 3 o'clock here. All the activity should be pretty quiet prior to 3 o'clock. I'm not expecting much other than a spotty shower out there, as we're seeing a few of those this morning. Those south and southeast winds could get up there around 15 to 25 miles per hour, maybe even a little higher. Gusts could get over 35 miles per hour, but that's going to draw higher dew points into our area, moisture into our area, all feeding into the storm system here. That low pressure system starts to scoot out of Colorado into Nebraska there, near the Panhandle and southwest Nebraska. After 3 o'clock, we are expecting storms to initiate around that area of low pressure. So we'll take you to 5 o'clock there. Not just that low pressure area, but also the warm front and that dry line are focal points. I do expect severe thunderstorms or supercell thunderstorms to develop along that dry line in western southwest Nebraska. We could have some stronger thunderstorms possibly in the Panhandle of Nebraska, and then also watching northern Nebraska along that warm front. That's another area for initiation. Now here in the Tri-Cities area, our chances of thunderstorms are lower. They're even lower yet in eastern portions of Nebraska. Let's jump ahead a couple of hours into the evening, 7 o'clock here. Again, 30, maybe 40% chance of rain and thunderstorms in the Tri-Cities area, possibly severe. Probably not seeing anything prior to 7 o'clock out east. But out west, that's where the thunderstorms are more likely to develop, and supercell thunderstorms will quickly race to the northeast. Again, those two focal point areas, I think the first one, the biggest threat for the strongest activity, the worst of the severe weather, will be along that warm front up towards the north. So our northern Nebraska viewers will be most under the gun, but even back to the west and southwest of there, still a good chance of some severe thunderstorms. As we progress farther into the evening towards 9 o'clock this evening, everything's racing to the northeast. Your highest threat is, again, across the northern half of the state, but there's still a chance back west as that dry line kind of starts to get overtaken by the cold front. There still is a chance of severe weather out there. Tri-Cities area, I think at this point our chance may drop off just a little bit, actually. So we're down to probably a 30% chance of rain and thunderstorms. So the big thing I'll emphasize for those of us living in the Grand Island, Hastings, and Kearney area, that our chance of severe weather and storms overall is much lower than our friends off to the northwest. Let's take you through the rest of the evening hours through midnight. Notice northern Nebraska, the highest focus continues to be up there for severe weather. We're going to start to see some of these storms congeal into more of linear storms, which means the wind gust threat could be a bigger threat at that point. We still could see isolated tornadoes and very large hail. Back to the southwest, that cold front's advancing eastward. I do think there's the possibility of maybe a few storms firing up along that frontal boundary as that pushes eastward here. And you can see that here as we push towards 2, 3 o'clock in the morning. Maybe a few showers and storms in central Nebraska pushing into eastern Nebraska. The severe weather threat does start to drop off, although it's not zero. There's still a chance. And then as we get towards tomorrow morning, those push into eastern Nebraska. Meanwhile, cooler air starts to rush in behind that front. So by tomorrow morning, we're down in the 50s in the Tri-Cities area, 40s out west, and the severe weather threat then does go away. Much of the day Saturday, it's actually going to be a really nice day for a large part of the area here. That front will continue to push eastward and then kind of stall out. So the focal point for strong to severe thunderstorms, and we'll back this up a little bit, would be far eastern, southeastern Nebraska. I would say draw a line from Fairbury to Omaha, southeastward. That's your best chance of severe weather. But then late in the day, storms may start to fire back up around the Tri-Cities as that warm front lifts northward, although the severe weather threat's a little lower towards the Tri-Cities area. And we'll see some overnight showers and isolated thunderstorms, more likely the farther southeast that you go. All right, here is the new Storm Prediction Center's outlook for today. This basically what the newest update has done is it's taken that enhanced risk and spread it farther into northern Nebraska and farther into western Nebraska into the Panhandle, almost to Scotts Bluff, actually. Now, if I were a chaser, I think I would probably focus on the Sandhills of Nebraska, Ogallala, North Platte, Thedford, Ainsworth, O'Neill, Broken Bow, Ord, all areas that I'd be looking at for the highest tornado threat. And I would say if I'm going to circle an area here, the highest tornado threat and possibly for some strong tornadoes would likely be in these locations right here. maybe it back that up just a little bit here to the west. So here I'll erase this and draw a new line. So again, these areas right here would be your highest tornado threat. Okay, that's where I think the biggest tornado threat is. We're also looking at the threat of 2-inch in diameter of hail or larger. So 2 inches in diameter, that's putting you over golf ball size hail. A baseball size hail is possible, maybe some larger destructive hail, possibly softball size, not out of the question. Some of those same areas would be the potential for the highest hail, although I would also expand that a little farther southeast as well to include more areas under the hail threat. So I think a hail threat would be large for really any of these locations right here. Wind gusts would also be a big threat for most locations in that orange, maybe in the yellow as well here. But again, the big thing I'll stress is the farther southeast you go, the lower your severe weather threat will be out of today and tonight, later today, tonight. Again, 3 o'clock to midnight is your best time frame, maybe some a little bit after midnight, especially in eastern Nebraska. That's where that marginal threat would come into play. Now, tomorrow's threat for severe weather, actually, before we get to that, again, we'll look at those main threats. Again, very large hail, 2 inches in diameter or larger, especially in those orange shaded areas again. Wind gusts that could exceed 70 miles per hour, and a few tornadoes, possibly a strong tornado or two, not out of the question. Now, tomorrow's threat, far southeast Nebraska, like I said, draw that line from Fairbury to Omaha southeastward. That's where your slight risk is of some severe weather. There's a marginal threat for other portions of eastern Nebraska where some isolated severe storms would be possible. Tri-Cities, our chances are pretty low. All right, on to temperatures now. Sorry, a lot of talking makes me a little thirsty here. First off, to dew point temperatures, which will climb today as those south winds pick up speed. The dew points are going to climb into the 60s. This is all going to feed into the system. Higher dew points lead to higher instability. So again, along with that turn in the atmosphere, that twist, so to speak, we have that higher dew point. So all ingredients coming together for a lot of severe weather potentially off to the northwest. Now to your actual air temperatures tonight, or today I should say. We're going to be climbing into the 80s, maybe some lower 90s, favoring maybe towards the Lincoln area. Look up north, though, Ainsworth, cooler. So where that frontal boundary is, that's where it's going to be cooler off to the northwest. So right along that front, I think that's where your highest potential is for the worst of the severe weather. Now tonight, temperatures will fall back into the 30s way out west in the Panhandle, 40s in the western parts of the state, 50s here around the Tri-Cities area, and still hanging on to some 60s in eastern Nebraska. Tomorrow, I think with again, not a great chance of storms during the day other than maybe far eastern Nebraska. It's going to be a really pleasant day, 70s for highs, and then storms will refire tomorrow night, and Sunday then the cooler air working in. Look at these highs on Sunday, only in the 40s, 50s, and 60s, and it will be a rather breezy day with northwest winds that'll be around 10 to 20 miles per hour. On to the rest of your forecast. We have temperatures that will be sitting in the 80s today, 70s tomorrow, 60s Sunday, and then the coolest day will be Monday, and this is when new showers are going to move in from the south. The chance will start to pick up a little bit after midnight Sunday night, really increase during the day on Monday. Maybe some isolated thunder, but not a great severe weather threat out there. It will also be a little on the windy side out there. Now, temperatures don't really fall off much Monday night as warmer air is going to start to lift northwestward into the area. So temperatures will climb into the 60s, and there's potential maybe for 70s on Tuesday. And if that happens, a little more instability may lead to a small chance of severe weather, more favorable the farther southeast you go. Otherwise, windy conditions, that good chance of rain then starts to wind down Tuesday evening. Wednesday's dry, a high around 70. Rain chances return Wednesday night, maybe some thunder mixed in there on Thursday. A high of 75, and so there is potential maybe we could be talking about severe weather towards next Thursday and towards next Friday. So, with that, I know that's a long forecast. There's a lot of information in there, but there's some great information. Hopefully I've helped you out with that. Continue to watch the forecast over the next couple of hours if things change a little bit. Otherwise, I'm going to be coming in later on today to help out Kit here in studio with severe weather coverage. And Tim will be out in Storm Chaser 4 chasing, likely up there off to the northwest around Broken Bow to Ainsworth, somewhere in those locations later on today. So we'll have all the coverage you'll need. If we do need to cut into programming, we'll be doing that later on today here on Local Force. Thank you all for watching. I do appreciate it. Hope you all have a good Friday and a good weekend. I'll see you all again on Monday morning. Take care and God bless. Bye.